In our last segment, we focused mainly on two questions regarding the economy. Question one was, who benefits from a healthy economy? And with the help of our friend Adam Smith, who wrote the book A Wealth of Nations in 1776, we said that if everyone pursues their own best interest, their own self-interest, society and the economy as a whole will benefit. Question number two was the question of how, what, and for whom. If you're interested in that question, please see the segment that I'm referring to. We briefly mentioned something called scarcity. Scarcity, of course, is the reality that there is no free lunch. Everything costs something, and because we have a limited amount of money in our bank accounts, in our wallets, we have to make choices. These choices we'll call trade-offs. The trade-off is basically an exchange, and it will be the subject of this segment. Two definitions which we need to discuss: marginal cost and marginal benefit. But before we do, let's first delve a little bit into this word trade-off itself. As we mentioned before, trade-off is an exchange. Let me give you an example in society. We have a statistic that says about 27% of our population in America, out of 300 million people, 27% finish college and graduate. They have that 4-year degree. Now, there's another statistic that says, and of course, these are all general rules and not true in all cases. Another statistic says that the person who has the 4-year degree will make twice as much as the person without that 4-year degree. Of course, once again, I am emphasizing there are exceptions. People who just start their own businesses, usually they might have gone to college, they might not have, but there are exceptions to this rule. But I'm just quoting the statistics and the general findings. So let's use, again, a general hypothetical situation of maybe the trade-off that one of the 78% of Americans are making. And I apologize if anyone's offended. I do not mean to say that this is the simple thinking of the person who makes the trade-off, but it's as follows. A person says, I want to hang out with my friends. I don't want to go to class. I don't want to have to study, and I do not want to have to take tests. Therefore, he does not go to college. Of course, he needs money to, hang out with friends, buy movies to watch, to enjoy life as well. So he gets a job at McDonald's, a ShopRite, or some other basic store. Works 8 hours a day. Now, college, of course, college also comes with the need to have a job and etc. But college consumes most of a person's time. There's 24 hours in a day. The person who's working 8 hours at McDonald's has plenty of time still to hang out with his friends and have fun. The person who's at college finds very little time, in theory, of course. You have people who are partying, slacking off, but let's say, since we're talking hypothetical in generals, the person in college is spending much more time studying, going to class, and has much less time to hang out with friends. And what happens? What's the trade-off? The trade-off is as follows. Once again, assuming that the person in college is going to make more money than the person who didn't go to college. So the person who went to college, the person who didn't go to college, his marginal cost is he didn't add to his human capital. He didn't add to his education, and his resume is not as impressive. Once again, talking in general. The person who went to college, his marginal cost was that time hanging out with friends. But what's the marginal benefit? The marginal benefit for the guy who didn't go to college? Well, there's not much. I mean, his marginal benefit is he got to hang out with his friends. And his marginal cost is he doesn't have that fancy resume and chance to make twice as much as what he could be making. Meanwhile, the person who went to college, his marginal benefit is the 4-year degree, which will make his resume look much better and hopefully eventually earn him a bigger paycheck. His marginal cost was the 4 years or whatever, however long he's in college. His marginal cost is he does not have to get time to hang out with his friends. Let's focus now on a smaller case and hopefully get the idea through that way. You have a student in macroeconomics who is getting a C+, which is a 2.5. He says, gee golly, from 9 to 11 I'm hanging out with my friends. I gotta study during that time. I can't hang out with my friends. No partying, no hanging out with girls, no drinking, whatever he's doing, he's gotta stop, he's gotta study. So for the rest of the semester, he puts that 9 to 11 towards studying, and he ends the semester with a cool 3.0. That 3.0 is the B that he was striving for. So he got the B he wanted. What's the marginal benefit and what's the marginal cost? Well, the marginal cost was the 2 hours he was hanging out with friends, hanging out with some hot girl, or drinking beers is gone. That's the marginal cost. The marginal benefit is not the 2.5, is not the 3.0, because he already had a 2.5 with hanging out with the friends from 9 to 11. The marginal benefit is merely that 0.5 increase in his grade. I hope this has helped us define what marginal benefit and marginal cost is. Before we conclude with this segment, let's discuss one last thing, which is called the big trade-off. The big trade-off is regarding life. In life, we have a choice of equality and efficiency. In a world of ideal, everyone would have a nice house with a picket fence, and they'd be able to pay all their bills without a worry. That's equality. Everyone would get a decent paycheck to produce that nice lifestyle. It's not the reality, though. The reality is that there are people who are on the streets without a home. There are people who are barely making ends meet. There are poor people in the world. It's sad but true. So you have people like Mr. President Obama who say, we're going to steal from the rich and give to the poor so that they don't have to be homeless, they don't have to be poor, they don't have to worry about any bills. Now, how does Mr. Obama do something like this? Well, he taxes the rich and gives it to the poor. There's an old expression, Mr. Obama. Good intentions, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. When you tax the rich lose their incentive to make money, because most of it's going to taxes anyway. So the response to high taxes is they stop producing as much, and therefore they don't need as much labor or capital, and they stop making investments in buying machinery, and they stop hiring as many people. They might even lay people off. This trickles down into the economy. The people who are laid off, the people who are no longer able to sell their equipment to companies for capital. So what happens is less money is running through the economy. Less money running through the economy equals eventually a possible recession. Mr. Obama, please read Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. It's true that we strive for equality, and you want to know something? Without a social welfare state, you can strive for equality. Thank you very much.